Hello, 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 hello! Corvus here. So, today I'm going to be working on finishing up with the Imposter doll body mods. Just filling up the body cavity with tinfoil and then covering everything up with clay. Hello, Bubby! Yay! Yeah. So I think this is going to be pretty consistent with my schedule going forward, where I'm going to be streaming 3 days a week. So that's Monday and Wednesday evenings, and then probably around today at noon. So that's what I'm going to try to keep consistent to. So I have all of these wired together. It's a little bit unstable, but once I fill it in and put the clay over top, that should help fix it up. So, tinfoil. That is loud. Yep. So this is just to expand the body and kind of change the body shape a bit. And right, also, the fix that I tried did not work on the recording thing, so the last stream did not save to Twitch. However, I did save the backup recording, so I should be able to put that on YouTube at some point, once I figure out how to put things on YouTube. Baby steps, you know? So it occurs to me that these noon weekend streams are probably going to have a lot more energy and talking to them because I'm not filming 6 to 8 and then going directly to sleep because tired. Also, I got a new overlay theme made. I'm not sure if I'm going to actually be streaming on Halloween, even though it does overlap with my schedule. But I figured I might as well make the new spoopy theme. I did record myself doing that, so I might put that on YouTube. I don't know, I'll have to go back through the footage and see if it's okay. Mostly I was just recording myself just to get more practice talking. Although I am improving a little bit, I think. Just filling the body cavity with tinfoil. And we have lost the head. That's okay. That wasn't going to stay on with the way this is. Although I can probably glue that piece back once I have some of the clay on. Oh, hey! Thank you. Thank you. Hello, faraway cookie. Yeah, I got the fancy mic all worked out finally, so I should have nice crisp audio from here on out. Already had this nice microphone or had access to it. It's technically not mine. But I just had to figure out how to get it all set up, and so it's working. So the next thing is probably to get a nicer tripod. Because right now, I would like a tripod that can stand on my desk. Because right now I have this thing, which is standing on the floor next to me. So I'm just kind of having to work around it as I'm doing things. Just to... You I thought I had a nicer tripod, but apparently not. So I have to figure out a way to get that upgraded. Although it is nice that this webcam has a mount for the tripod piece. Yes. So far people do seem to be enjoying the stuff I'm posting, so... Oh, hello, Kaida. Hello. Gonna say, I get the feeling. Yes, I know you did. I am fully aware, and then Emma took the other one, and... It's fine. Yeah, I get the feeling I'm gonna have probably more viewership on these weekend streams, because the thing with doing streams at night, especially when you live where I do, is that there are not many time zones that go before this one. So, I'm streaming 7 to 8 where I am, but I'm also streaming, like, in the middle of the night to a lot of the people. So, sort of why I'm doing the weekend stuff, is just to fill all that in. But I should have gotten the recording stuff sorted out before this stream. It should be working now. I don't know if it is. I'll have to wait and see, I guess. There we go. Just sort of reforming the body, making it a little bit more sturdy. And then once I have all this on, I can go over the top with clay. Sort of finish building out the new form. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I think that's most of that filled in. I'm thinking I'll make the body in 2 pieces and then attach it together. And that might also make it easier to go for some of the more specific body mods that I'm going to have to put on with clay to match the concept art. Yes. This is just air dry clay. It's what I use mostly. There is other stuff you can use, but most of that stuff is epoxy, so you kind of have to... It's a little bit more expensive, and you have to wear gloves when working with it and stuff. So I might invest in that at some point, but this works pretty well for what I'm doing here. And just try to smooth it down. Because I'm gonna go over it with sandpaper just to smooth it in with the rest of the body pieces. Yeah. So not being very careful with the clay right now. I'm just kind of globbing it on, trying to fill everything out, you know. So I'm gonna try to fill in the back area, because the thing with the Monster High dolls is that they have a very dramatic sort of cartoony body shape. That's what I'm trying to fix up here. Oh yeah, it is very soft. And the nice thing about this is that it's getting a little bit more solid now as I'm working with it. But you can just dip it in water and then work that in, and it makes a mess on your hands. But it sort of rehydrates it and makes it a little bit softer to work with. So it smooths in better. This is the Imposter doll. So, essentially this doll is going to be trans because I cannot find male body types, so I am just making them happen. With very dramatic reconstructive surgery. I'm sort of basing what I'm doing here on what Delightful on YouTube did on her Litten doll. Granted, hers is a little bit more professionally done, but I guess that's just a matter of experience. Why does this have stuff in it? There we go. Because I put it down on the table. So I'm just kind of filling in the curves and giving the body a little bit more of a squared shape. And it also helps on this doll, filling everything in with clay like this, because I am going to need to probably do some more work with an X-Acto knife or a hacksaw to put in a mouth piece over the stomach. Kind of match what some of the animations in the game are like, and I have that drawn in my concept art, so I'm going to try to make that happen. Okay, this is getting a little bit harder to work with now. Need more water. Makes it all slippery. But yeah, I have a bunch of this clay. Like, I've almost finished using one full brick of this. But I still have another one stored away. Just my endless hoard of craft supplies. It's not like... They all get used, though, so... Had to... Yeah, this is pretty good to work with. Which is weird since it's like, I think $2 a brick or something along those lines. So you wouldn't think it'd be this good clay, but I guess I just bought it as a starting out thing and then it turned out to be really good, so I'm just gonna keep using it. Kind of filling everything in. Doesn't have to be pretty right now because I can do more sanding and then more passes of clay to kind of clean everything up. It's good to see that that joint I had to repair is holding up okay. Yeah, it's really good. I just picked it up from the local craft store when I was first starting out with these. It's a little bit brittle once it dries, but honestly not that much. So if you want something with more lenience to it, I'd probably go with something else like the epoxy stuff. Also a little bit heavy, but that's why I usually do tin foil or styrofoam as the base for a sculpture and then build the clay on top so it's kind of hollow. Still working on setting up all the social media stuff for this, but I think it's going pretty well. I made a separate Tumblr from my personal one. Let's link that up to my Twitch and things. Go with the Twitter and the Instagram. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm building up. Probably gonna have to build more clay around the sides when I connect it. This is probably the biggest body mods that I've ever had to do on a doll. Yeah. Weather over here's been super weird. It's like... I swear Minnesota has decided to invent new kinds of weather this year. It's just we have snow and we have ice in October, which is odd. Well, what's worse is that it's all kind of melting down, so now we just have vague slush everywhere. Trying to smooth some of this down with some water. Couple of this stuff I had to hold together and glue in. And the nice thing about working with super glue is that if you have cornstarch or baking soda and you put that over top of the super glue when it's still wet, it'll pretty much seize up instantly and dry real fast. That's how you... Works better with baking soda than with cornstarch because there's... pretty sure there's a chemical reaction that goes with that to make it work like that. Yeah. That's coming together nicely. Well, I used all the clay I'd gotten out. Just sort of trying to get that kind of featureless blob the Among Us characters have. I think the toughest part of this custom isn't going to be the the body mod that's going to be sewing together the outfit piece. Making a spacesuit to fit over top. There we go. This clay is very nice. It's just squishy. Oh, squishy and soft. Good stim. I don't know. I might just check downstairs for the, in the fabric bins. I have some extra stuff from older projects. It's the nice thing about making doll clothes is that it can be just done with scrap fabric. But I almost want to do it with something a little bit plasticky, but I'd be concerned about trying to sew that. That would probably have to be sewn by hand instead of with the machine. Whoop. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do with the helmet piece. And I think I have some plastic sheeting. It's just a really thin decorative thing that might work if I put it over something like plexiglass to give it that blue tint. Yeah. Might have to put a poll up somewhere of what hat should this imposter have. That is the most important question. I'm tempted to go with the green color scheme, so the lime, because that's the character I always play. But I don't know. Maybe I should go for something different. Lots of hat options. There we go. Looks pretty good on the chest piece. So then I can probably grab... Actually, this will work perfectly. Give me a second. I'm just gonna grab my mannequin doll so that we can compare the body shape. This will work well because Azurine the mannequin is made out of the same doll model as what this one's gonna be. Yeah. And there is the change in the body type. Yeah. Azurine's one of my oldest ones. It just has all of the measurements written down. Very good for making the clothing stuff. Should do a video of that at some point, just introducing everyone to some of the older projects, because I have... yeah, I have 4 projects already done. Yeah. Had to... I was gonna say, there's no way to explain what I did to make this happen without sounding vaguely murdery. In that I had to cut the head off and then chop completely down the middle and then in half. Wire it all back together, fill it up with foil, and then cover it with clay. You very quickly learn that it's difficult to talk about doll customizing without it sounding very weird out of context. Because it is a strange hobby. Yes. I realize that that's just gonna be probably a constant. It's just vaguely murdery. Need some water to smooth that down with. Oop. And then to mold the two parts together, I might just take a clump of clay and mold it onto the other piece so that they can be glued together and into one solid thing without having any gaps. It's what I did for the legs on one of my previous ones where I had to make the legs digidegrade. So, turn people legs into bird legs by cutting it off at the shins and installing another joint. I had to make that blend together in the way I wanted it to. Imprint that into that. And now I can grab where is it? This one will work. This piece, and just shave off the sides around that. Yeah. Form the waist piece. Probably could have done this all in one, but this is my first time working with this kind of armature wire, and I'm not sure if I trust it enough to do that. Just wanted to get the clay on, so I know for sure that it's solid and not going to break out. There we go. Now I can just smooth this piece down. Oddly enough, I find that using plastic-coated wires is easier than using just plain ones. Because with the electrical coated wires, smooth the flesh, you can, it kind of grips onto the plastic pieces, so it holds pretty well. Yeah. And then that can be glued in. So now I have the imprint here, so it should glue on straight with as much or as little gapping as I can get. And while I'm here working on this, I might try to trace in where I'm going to put the bigger modification, just so I can have a reference for it. Oh god, that... something happened. This is why I do not trust armature wire. It's fine if that happens. That should happen once the clay is dry, and if it does, I can just glue it back. That's the other nice thing about this clay. It, yeah. Breaks pretty straight when it does, so you can just glue it all back in. Ignore the ripped in half torso, it's fine. piece cuts up to there. So I kind of have an outline of where to make the cut once this is all dry. To put in the mouthpiece. And the other nice thing about this is that now I have this soft clay. So I can drill holes to embed tentacles. Yeah. Sometimes that stuff just happens. I'm thinking the tentacles are probably also going to have to be fabric, because I could make them out of clay, but then I'd lose the posability and they wouldn't be quite as lightweight. So that might make it a little bit too heavy in the back. Yes, embed the tentacles. Totally normal sentences to say. Then also have the head going. I'm going to let that harden up a little bit more. So then working on the head a bit. Question. Where did I put the X-Acto knife? Never a question you want to have to ask yourself. Got it. Bottom half of the other drawer. I have many, many boxes of stuff for this. Just gonna cut cleanly through the vinyl. It's the nice thing. The heads are vinyl, so they're pretty easy to fiddle with. That's how you get it off of the neck peg. It's just heat it up with some boiling water and yank the head off. That's the other thing I'm gonna have to take care of, is reforming the ears, because this base doll has pointy ears, and I'm not sure if I want that on. Yes. Soft, squishy heads. Easy to mold. Not sure if I want the pointed ears on this character, so I'm gonna do, at least for now, I might cut the ears off entirely later. It might make the helmet fit a little bit better. I don't know. But at least for now, I'm just gonna cut the tip piece off. There we go. A little bit better. Need a new blade for the knife. That's what the blade shelf is for. Now that the head has been thoroughly destroyed. I'm going to nail polish remover. Ideally, I'd use 100% acetone, but I have run out of that, so this stuff has acetone in it, it'll work. Chemicals! Look at all the chemicals. It's kinda... That's more than I intended. Chemicals! Fun times. Fun times. So then that just wipes off the face. Which is also a little bit horrifying. Gonna make a point with the paper towel. There we go. How's that? The other thing is that this specific doll model also has glitter on the skin. So the stuff on the face can probably come off with acetone, but I'm probably gonna have to do some sanding work on the body to get all that off. Just wipe off the face. Just have to figure out what I'm gonna do for the hair. Probably gonna end up doing yarn wefts on this one, as opposed to rooted hair. I don't know. Really depends on which material is gonna work best with the design. So I could also do rooted yarn, but that poses some challenges with getting it all to stay in place. And then once I get the face wiped off, I'm gonna want to wash my hands and put lotion on them, because this stuff is also insanely drying. Just want to get most of the paint off. It's okay if there's a little bit in the crevices, because this is... I don't know yet. Yeah. I have to figure that out. Probably it's gonna be a color that complements the rest of the color scheme in the outfit, but I have to figure out what that's gonna be first. But I'm gonna paint over the skin, or the skin tone, so I don't have to get all of the paint off. And squish the head so you can get in the cracks. That's the other nice thing about vinyl heads. Squish. Squish. Need to try to get into the lip crease. That could almost work. Or I could... It's a fun hack for getting this all cleaned out. Wrap a piece of acetone cloth, soaked paper towel around a pointy tool. Removal of the face. So that I can add another face. Don't really create many human characters. I think it's a lot more fun when you can go a little bit over the top with the design and create more fantasy sci-fi looking characters. I must mold the face. There we go. With that additional cut so that I can expand the mouth. Now, I'm gonna go wipe the acetone off of the face. I will be back in a moment because I have to get that with soap and warm water. Yep. Alrighty daddy do. There is one clean head. I just gotta dry it off, and then I can start. That's also gonna get some modifications with some clay. Which is a tricky thing to do because the head is squishy and the clay is not. But the nice thing is that the clay can usually pop off of the vinyl in one chunk. So then you just have to glue it back on once the head is back on the body. I'm gonna want some more precise tools for this. Mostly it's just fixing up this side of the face around that extension of the mouth. Is that? Yeah, that makes the lighting a little bit better. There we go. That's the one thing that I still have to kind of fiddle with in terms of the live streams in particular, is just making sure that the lighting's nice. Yes. Mwahaha. Don't mind me carving a new mouth. Let's be real, I've always been a little bit mad scientist-y. I have had to destroy at least one formula. I made a formula that let me win at a card game every time. And then I realized that it ruined the fun, so I just ran the piece of paper through a paper shredder and tried to forget it. The process of carving a new mouth. Yeah. I think I technically have 4 projects like this running right now, but one of them's kind of on hold. So I try to figure out how to make it work. There we go. Yeah, a face. Just kind of slitting the mouth open on one side. I might mess with the eye a bit too. This one side of the face looks more human and the other one's fully not. Then this might go on further for the next layer piece, but the next piece is going to be adding teeth to both this and the stomach. I might put more work on the body pieces off camera, just because that's going to involve a lot of drying time. need the thing. Where did I put it? Always losing my tools, which is weird because my desk is empty, except for the streaming setup. You would think it'd be possible to lose my tools right now. Gonna pull up the concept art here so I can get a look at what I'm doing. Try to make it match as best I can. Have to go way back in time to find it. Probably says something about how much work I do that I have to go back this far to find the thing I did this week. There he is. There's the boy. Yeah, I lose my tools quite often. Alright. There's gonna be a difficult piece. Arranging these texture pieces. Sort of come out away from the eye and kind of almost like veins, but it makes it supremely creepy. More like tentacles, really, but there's one. Yes, I am really better at the art part of this than the rest of the logistical getting it all put together. Which is weird because I've never worked with clay before I got started on these projects. I'm pretty decent at it. Yes. Tentacles. In true Eldritch horror fashion. Is it Eldritch or Aldrich? I think it's Eldritch. I don't know. Words are hard. Probably weird that I'm using a knife to cut away at the still soft clay. But it makes a nice clean line. I do some... Thank you! Thank you. Just gonna do some smaller ones branching off from there. These absolutely tiny little tubes. Suppose these are a little bit more like a cross between vines and tentacles to give them that branching shape. More tentacles the better, right? In terms of creepy horror stuff. There we go. All right. And then yes. How's this doing? It's a little bit more solid. I'll probably go through and smooth it down soon. Stuff sets up pretty fast, which is good because until you put a layer of sealant on it, the air dry clay can pretty much still be rehydrated and moved around. Also, makes a mess out of your hands. I'm just covered in little pieces of clay. Usually when I end up storing this stuff, I have to put a bit of water in, even if it is in an airtight bag, because it will soak that water right up, and that'll counteract any drying that happens when it's in storage. I am clay. Oh no. I have been infected. I'm the imposter now. Thank you, Bubby, for the shout out on the server. Just noticed that. Thank you. I feel like you will be pleased to know that in my last test recording might be edited down and posted, where I was designing this nice little Halloween theme. I did spend like a solid 2 to 5 minutes just talking about you guys, and you guys are amazing, and thank you for being so supportive, and just don't mind me recording a video and gushing about my friends. I was gonna put something out on the server, but I guess I didn't want to seem too pushy. Which is probably dumb, but you know. Yes, I love you guys. You're amazing. Still trying to unrepress all of the all of the cringe culture is dead and I'm allowed to talk about my interests. Shut up, brain. I honestly probably wouldn't have gotten this far with all of this without you guys being all supportive and sweet. Yeah. Smooth the flesh. Glad Dem is in here with the amount that we're saying. The amount that we're saying flesh. There would definitely be some mention of balloons. Flourish. It's also kind of why I've started doing... I'm gonna keep doing the weekend stuff. It's because... I would like you to be able to attend streams, and I would like Moz to be able to attend my streams. But both of you are a couple hours ahead of me in time zone, and it makes it difficult. Trying to smooth everything down and carve it all in. Boop. I would say after a certain point, this stops being doll customizing and starts being just an original art piece. And you start taking it all apart and reconstructing everything and doing all that. Just making that little cut there. Yee. That is the best compliment that you can receive. It's just, you made someone be all stimmy. And that is amazing. Cutting all this in. It's easier to do when the clay is still soft. This stuff does dry pretty solid. That's the nice thing. I'm pretty sure this stuff is mostly just really finely milled down paper and maybe some the medium that's kind of like a glue. So when it hardens, it really almost turns back into sort of that... You know when you freeze sawdust and it makes that really hard material? It almost turns into that with... It has the strength of the wood but without the grain to it. So it's just a hunk of really tough stuff. There we go. That cut down the middle. I'm realizing that this person has two mouths, and I am okay with that. I mean, logistically speaking, they would have to. If you take all of the in-game art at face value. Oh. here's the slightly weird piece. Just rolling this out. Boop. Yep. I was gonna say, I do really love designing slightly body horror looking characters. Almost a weird amount for somebody who cannot consume horror content on account of anxiety disorder. You know, I like creepy things. Sort of in the same vein as me finding videos of people restoring machinery to be relaxing. It's like, yes, the sound of power tools. And if you have any of these clay scraps left, you can grind them up, mix them with water, and it becomes sort of a fine glue paste that can be worked into things. Yes, exactly. I realize that literally a lot of the content I make, be it in art or writing, is horribly dark. It's like, yep. There we go. Give him a little tongue. That is exactly it, though. It's... I have an appreciation for horror things. I just don't like, how do I put this? I don't like terror, I like horror. Little tongue. Yep. It's sort of... Jump scares and stuff I cannot deal with. But I'm okay with... And I don't even really find it all that scary. With the more, like... something here is off kind of horror. It's just, you know... I have an appreciation for the aesthetic. Probably gonna make the sort of tongue tentacles out of clay instead of the air stuff. Yes! Perfect. That is an exact description of what I'm talking about, yeah. It's... I like things that are, like, slightly weird. I feel like if you really want to get into it, that might come from the fact that I am also slightly weird. It's just, I like horror concepts, not so much horror, content. Yeah. Slightly weird is perfect. Yep. It's the best. Look at that. Alright, if I do anything any bigger than that, I'm probably gonna wanna put in armature wire, but... Almost maybe flatten that down a bit? No, not quite. It's kind of fun that a lot of my sort of horror concepts content is like all of the horror characters are actually nice. Just, yep. I like the aesthetic of being evil. I don't like actually being evil. Shush. Shush. Computer, why must you make noise? I am streaming. I'm pretty happy with how this joint fixed up. Exactly. That's... I guess a better term would be more rebellious rather than straight evil. It's like, I don't want to hurt people, I would like to hurt the system. I gotta say, you're really fun to hang out with on stream. It's just... yeah, nice talking going. So I hit like 11 followers, which I didn't think I knew 11 people who wanted to consume my content, and that's very nice. I am pleasantly surprised by the amount of people who would like to listen to me talk. There we go. It's sort of still trying to figure out how I'm going to make the teeth thing happen. I'm glad I picked this doll base, though, because... let's see if I can pop it off. There we go. The hands already have claws sculpted on. So I might want to lengthen them a little bit, but that's a good starting point for any clay work I might do. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this one's coming along. Oh, and I got some new materials. Yeah. Bumped the tripod there, sorry. This stuff, it all comes back around to me collecting fabric scraps because they're too small to do anything regular scale with, but they'll work perfectly here. But I got this nice... it's actually suede, but it makes a good flexible faux leather on a small scale. So I might do some of that for some of the armor work. And then also, from the same thing, I have fur. Just furs. Faux furs left over from other things. Actually, I'm pretty sure this is a leftover from a cosplay my mom did. Yeah. So, collected some new materials. And that's also the really nice thing about doing this kind of artwork is that in order to make the visual interest, especially when you're working with only kind of one color scheme, using a bunch of different textures works really well for that. So if you can just vary that up, it'll... Progress on how the clay-covered hand is coming along. It's just... eh. I guess say the lighting is better in these streams than it is in the late night ones, just because I have a big window right there, so it gets some good natural sunlight in. It's probably healthy, I don't know. Come on. It's the other thing, I cannot unlock my phone right now because my fingerprint is covered in clay. Yeah. Yes, I am made of clay. That would actually be really nice, though, because then I could just remold myself to fit the aesthetic that I'm looking for. That's the thing, though. You'd think that my clothing selection depends on my gender presentation, but it really doesn't. It kind of goes the other way, where it's like, which one makes the outfit look good, because the outfit is what matters here. Mold the self, yes. It's a nice thing about having gender euphoria but not gender dysphoria, really. So it's like, don't really feel bad about the way I look, but I can adjust it to make me happy. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Granted, my aesthetic is a weird mixed bag of just clothing items that make me smile. It works out pretty well. I'm really happy with that tongue piece there. Let's see. Focus. Focus, sir. There you go. So I have the mouth cut and then the tongue piece sticking out and kind of swirling around. Sort of in keeping with the sort of theme I'm going for here with the light body horror stuff. What's gonna be really interesting on this one is changing up the tongue. What was I saying? Changing up the face painting stuff, because I'm gonna have to make the eyes on the concept art, half of the face is sort of normal human and the other half is more along the lines of what you would expect from the tentacled monster. So I'm gonna have to kind of adjust that and try to make, like, sort of a... I don't really want a straight line down the face, but I do kind of want to have that sort of effect. So I'm gonna have to try to blend it together as best I can in between everything. How's everything going over here? Boop. There we go. Alright. The other thing I am quickly finding out is that the the YouTube stuff is a little bit difficult when you're recording 2-hour streams. Because it takes about as long as it does to record to upload. Just to get everything put in. Probably gonna want to fix up the ears from where I had to cut them off a bit. Yeah. Just kind of finishing that up. Following the mold edges. So I want the face shape of this face mold. So I just have to remove and adjust everything else so that it works with what I'm doing. That might work, yeah. Yeah, I might have to try that. I tried uploading a video and I got almost done and then my computer restarted for updates. And that sucked. So I'm gonna have to try uploading that one again. Yeah. Just why did it have to pick that moment to update? I had homework to do, and I was uploading a video. And it took an hour to update, and I couldn't get anything done. Granted, that's probably what I get for running everything off of my little slightly old laptop. It's handling things well. But still, not what you really should be using for this kind of thing. Do not have a desktop setup. Yeah. Granted, it might have been a little bit spiteful because I put it off for 2 months, but you know. Maybe a little bit my fault. Yes, this clay is very soft. It's very nice. Yes, I do fully expect the modifications to the face to pop off of it once they dry, because the face is moldable and the clay isn't. But then they will be molded into the shape of the face. So they can just get glued back on once it's all done. Yay! I get to be the good hand feel. So does all of my clothing. Good news is, because it's air dry clay, it comes off with just water. I don't know how if I ever upgrade to actually using, like, epoxy stuff. I'm gonna have to be, like, wearing a full hazmat suit because I get this stuff absolutely everywhere. All the time. I will have paint on me even when I haven't worked with paint for, like, a week, and it's like, I don't know what happened. Honestly, starting the streaming stuff with working on this kind of project is probably a really good choice for me. 'Cause it's just a very calming activity for me. Which is nice. Because I was a little bit scared to start doing this, to be honest. You know? Although it really is like any other social media. Yeah, you're just kind of shouting into the void until somebody decides to listen. And the good news is you can take that void shouty time where the only people who are listening are the people you know to get more comfortable with talking. To talking while having other people listening. Once again, this is a horribly ironic choice of hobby for me as the selectively mute person with stage fright. It's just, Sometimes before I stream I get nervous, and then I have to calm down so that I'm capable of talking again. Yeah. This is... The doll stuff is pretty much the perfect hobby for me, though, because it's the right mix of engineering stuff and art, which are the two things that I'm pretty good at. That's probably an understatement, but... pretty decent at a lot of things, but I guess those two are just the ones that I've taken the time to work on. May irony never defeat us in our weird counterintuitive hobbies. It's like my sister, who has food allergies, including being allergic to nuts and most fruit, and still wants to learn how to cook. Which is good, because I can't cook. Just... it is complicated. I begin to realize that my entire family... Yes, it is. It's very fun. That my entire family is kind of like that, and that my dad is a programmer and has dyslexia. Huh. Being counterintuitive is very fun. It makes everything a little bit more challenging, but, you know. It's like the analogy of wearing weights during training. Is that once you take them off, you get really, really good. I automatically have a disadvantage at this, but if I figure out how to work around it, that gives me an advantage. As opposed to people who the stuff comes naturally to, who are also very good and completely valid, but don't have to, I guess, work as hard at it, and might not have quite as much of an understanding of how they are doing what they're doing. I mean, I think the secret to getting good at something is just to be endlessly curious. The best that a thing can be, I think, is to be something interesting. If you really look for it, there's a lesson to be learned from almost everything. So every day, you get a little bit better at what you're doing. Just endlessly moving upwards. And you can get things incorrect, but you can never get things wrong. Because in order to get things wrong, you have to not have learned something from it. Perfect. Beautiful example. Sorry guys, if you leave my brain alone for long enough, I will either get extremely silly or extremely serious, and I will jump between them at a moment's notice. So it's just... And suddenly I'm having a deep discussion with myself about things. Being all sappy for a moment, honestly, I think meeting you guys was one of the best things that's happened to me in a long time. Yeah. Yeah, I love you too. I love all of yous. Just installing all of these tentacles if I can get the thing to work all around the torso. Probably gonna show up better on camera once I get it a little bit painted. But I'm gonna be doing sculpting for, I guess, the tentacles that are more firmly attached to the body. And then for the ones that stick out to the side, that's probably gonna end up being fabric. I don't know what kind of fabric yet. I have to work that out. I'm almost thinking lycra? But I don't know how well that would work with the, because that would make it stretchy, but I don't know how well that would work if I have to put a wire base through it. And cotton might work, but it's a little bit less flexible. Maybe a blend fabric? I don't know. I'll have to do some thinking about that. I don't know when I started knowing how to identify fabric. It just happened. It tends to be how things work with me and learning things. It's... Yes, I now know how to identify all of this. And it was completely by accident, just from immersion in a subject. I don't know when I learned how to identify all of the frog species that are native to my area. It just happened. It's also kind of awkward when you know things that, like, out of the context of where you learned them is extremely suspicious and weird. It's like, No, I only know what that word means because of YouTube, and I read the dictionary once. How do I know how to do that? I don't remember. I picked it up somewhere. Either that or I know specifically, like, when I learned that and what I was doing and what was happening around me in the world, and it's very strange. It's like, I have perfect memory or I can't remember anything. It depends on the subject. Wow. I will call that progress in terms of getting better at keeping the monologue going. Yeah. I have been talking for 1 hour 40 minutes now. Nice. Wait, 1 hour 40 minutes? Wow, I got like 20 minutes left on the stream then. I'm trying to keep everything down to 2 hours. Because I know that I could keep going longer than that, but I also know that I have things to do and I should probably try to have a life. It's just, if I go over 2 hours, that might open a door that I cannot close. Sort of have to set boundaries with myself about how I'm going to be running all of this. Because I could happily stream all day. That would be a healthy choice, though. It is a dilemma. As of right now, with the schedule I have, I am going to be streaming 6 hours a week. And probably spending quite a bit of time in between that sorting out getting all this dust off my hands. Sorting out any issues with the stream and getting all the social media stuff running and uploading and editing videos. Just keeping everything running. Because I have no intention of stopping doing this unless I am stopped. And maybe even a little while after that, because I feel like I'd be difficult to stop. Yes. My status as an immovable object has been thoroughly cemented, in that I am the only person who can get you to go to bed at a reasonable hour. I don't know what I did to earn this role, but I am honored. I try. Also, I'm just... Yes. I am very stubborn, and I'm also in possession of the chart trademark. Of course. I am the occasionally hypocritical self-care police. It's just, you will take care of yourself, and I will try to do the same. Yeah, well, this is gonna need quite a bit of sanding to get it all down. Hey, maybe I can do that next stream. The chart. Yes. Which I continue to expand as people give me more information. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end up gluing these pieces together off stream. Just because I have to let the clay dry, and then once I glue it, I have to let that dry. And I feel like that's a lot of drying time on stream. Yeah. I'm really happy with how this is turning out. With all of the sculpting. Yes, the ever-expanding chart. Because I am a nerd. Yeah, it is. That's the other thing of why doll modding is difficult to do on live stream is you have to spray in between all of the layers of paint stuff, and you have to do all that, and I have decided to solve that by having many things running at once, so that in between dry times I can still have things to do on stream. It's just... That's why usually when I have my little to-do list up there, the third item on the to-do list is the piece that I will do if I have time at the end of the stream, or if I get done with everything and I can't do any more work on the first two pieces, but I still have time left. This is also a really, really fitting doll to be doing around Halloween. Both in terms of the process and the subject matter. Just, yep. I have achieved new levels of mad scientist doll customizer. I have to figure out how I'm going to sculpt the teeth into the mouths, though. It might be a little bit difficult to make happen. There we go. Just trying to... Thing is, if you wait until it's all fully dry, where is my tool? Why does this always happen? Oh, seriously, where did it go? Onto the floor is where it went. Yes. I was gonna say, I was a little bit concerned about uploading this stuff to YouTube because I didn't want to get hit by the COPPA stuff. Because I am working with dolls, and that is arguably a child-directed subject matter, and then, like, somebody mentioned, I don't think that's going to be a problem because, yes, definitely directed at kids. In this video, we are going to be cleaving a doll in half from the collarbone to the crotch. Huh. Yeah, maybe not child-directed. Especially if I keep making these more horror-themed projects. There was a thing... Right, I was gonna get some water and smooth this down, I'm definitely gonna sand it, so that the transition is a little bit smoother. But if I can minimize that, that would be nice. Because once the paint goes on, I want there to be, like, no visible difference. Yep. I like to make my videos kind of family friendly, but I wouldn't say it's child aimed. It's just, I think that is the most weird thing with the doll customizing community, is that it's like, for the first half of every project, it's today. Today we are doing kind of horrible body horror looking things with a nice bouncy song over top and some wholesome narration. It's just, yep. Just, honestly, I'm a little bit hesitant to set up. I don't even have a bank account yet, but once I do, I'm a little bit hesitant to set it up so that I can take donations. Because I just kind of feel like I am not professional enough at any of this to be worth spending actual money on. Huh. I don't know how good my content is. It's kind of additionally horrifying that I am fully aware that this, if I wanted to, I could just split the torso directly in half. Yeah. It's kind of fun. I got the first stream up and running, and I had, I think, 2 people watching that one. And the first question Dem asked is, "How do I give you money?" And it's like, wow, you haven't seen the content yet. Thank you for being so supportive, but I have to get that set up. Yes. Just rip the torso directly in half. And have to glue the neck peg on and then smooth it in. I might do... Yes. All of you guys are 10 out of 10 amazing. It's hilarious. I guess this isn't off topic for this video, given the project I'm working on. But what's hilarious is the dichotomy between how people are in real life versus how they are when they're playing Among Us. It's like, you, me, and Dem are the best imposters and absolutely ruthless. But also... Yeeth. Thank you! We have a mutual murderous relationship in Among Us. It's just... There we go. Yes. That is friendship. I will always kill you first. It's kind of fun though that the Among Us situation is mostly if you're there, you die first, and if Dem's there, they die first. And it would seem like the next step from that would be if neither of you are there, I die first, but that doesn't happen. It's just... yeah. Yes. Everybody likes killing you. I think that's mostly just because you're very afraid of looking suspicious, so you're always walking around on your own. And I don't know why nobody wants to kill me. If you're fully expecting us to kill you, that adds another layer of it. Where... That's fair. Honestly, if you wanted to, you could probably figure out who the imposters are explicitly by who falls first. It's just... if I'm one of the first ones, it's you or Dem. And if you go down, it's Dem or me. And generally a good rule of thumb is, if you think you trust me, don't. So, I play the long game of using a lot of vents and also talking to people nicely so I can get an alibi. Just, I will specifically not kill people so that I can have them to vouch for me. It's like, me as imposter is either you catch me within the first 2 minutes because I kill directly in front of someone by accident, or the game is over under 2 minutes because nobody found any of the bodies and I just ran around and killed everyone. Mwahaha. It's very fun being evil with your friends. Also, I discovered Among Us when it first came out, and I was just playing with random people, and I ended up getting rid of it because it wasn't fun. But apparently the secret to having fun in that game is that you just need to get a group of people who you know. It's kind of fun because even if I know the real names of the people either in the Discord or in the Among Us game, is that I'm still gonna split between half the time I'm calling you by your username and the other half I'm calling you by your real name. Yes, friends are good. Friends. Family. Don't mind me just covering up the tinfoil with clay. It's also nice having friends in... Yes. Actually, now it's a Gordos with a U. Because they always have a pumpkin on. Family. Also started noticing weird patterns in the echolalias, where it's a lot of them are just I will repeat a word exactly 5 times. You'll notice that with my video and my stream intros is that I say hello 5 times. It's just I don't know, that number seems right. Wow. That is 2 hours on stream. Yeah. Groups of 3s are nice. Yeah. As of in 30 seconds. They should probably start wrapping it up. Yeah, I think I need to try to keep this level of energy in my my evening streams, and that is 2 hours on the dot. Yay. Thank you. Thank you. We're gonna start putting up the recordings of some of the later night ones, because I know you cannot watch those. Or rather, if you do show up to one of those, I am going to be a little bit disappointed because you should be asleep. But it's probably not the same as being there in person, but you can watch those. And I'm still going to be doing the weekend ones probably around this time every week. Yeah. I should probably get a post-stream screen set up. You gotta say, pre-stream screen is a wonderful phrase. Yes. And I need to get a scripted outro so that I know what to say and it doesn't just devolve into awkward rambling. But yeah, I have a separate Tumblr set up for this, and that's also linked to the Twitch account, along with the Twitter and Instagram. And I might try to set up a Snapchat for some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, but I don't know. So yes. Bye-bye, Bobby. Which is still an amazing echolalia. Yes, rambling is fun. I love you too. Alright.